Welcome to Tech Talk, y'all.
Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk, y'all, brought to you by Edgewise.Media. I'm Adam Walker, and joined by my buddy, Joe Casabona. Joe, man, good to have you.
Glad to be back. I'm excited to talk to you today.
I couldn't let you just record with Sanjay, though I did enjoy listening to the episodes with you guys talking. But it's good to for me and you could be able to chat because we've known each other. Have we ever met in person? By the way, I was wondering about that. I don't think we have.
We have some word can't remember.
It doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, we've been in the WordPress community forever, but I've only really been to I haven't been to many WordCamps in recent years. It's been kind of tapering off for me, but anyway, so it's good. It's good to get to see you virtually here. So
likewise.
All right, we got a lot for you on the show today. I think we're going to have some interesting, maybe philosophical level conversation here because Joe is obviously a philosopher, and then we're going to get into weird and wacky. Just one quick one and some great tech recs that I'm excited about. So. Joe, you want to start out for us?
Yeah, the hottest new vibe coding startup might be a sitting duck for hackers. So this is a company called, is it Lovable? Is that what it was?
It's the one I use. Yeah, Lovable.
Okay, all right. And the TLDR on this, right, is that they failed to fix a critical security flaw.
Yeah.
Despite, there's, for those who don't know, there's a whole system to go through when someone finds a security flaw or a bug. The thing you're supposed to do before going public with it is notify the company.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you give the company 30 days to fix it or something. And then you go public with it if they don't. So it looks like Lovable, which I'm sure you've talked about vibe coding on this show.
I don't know. I'm not sure if we have, but we should, because I had this experience with Lovable last Sunday that just kind of shook me to my core a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So let me I want to mention some things about this article. And let me tell you about that experience. So in this article, first of all, the researchers were from Replit, which is a competitor to Lovable. So they're obviously kicking the tires trying to find flaws in Lovable for the benefit of Replit. So, okay, I get that. That's fine. All right. So the researchers tested 1,100 sites, and of those 1,100, I think it was 107 of them. They were able to see usernames, passwords, even API keys. And so that's a huge security issue. It also makes me wonder if the people using Lovable did something wrong in their own setup to make that accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. So that's the Lovable side. I assume they'll fix it. I hope they'll fix it because I still use it. Here's the thing that just completely shook me last weekend. So I'm sitting on my couch and I was messing around with my computer and I was like, I wonder, I've never thought about using Lovable to build a website. And I want to rebuild my nonprofit's website, which is 48 and 48, which my nonprofit that builds websites for nonprofits, and we want to rebuild it. And let me put in a prompt. So I put in rebuild 48and48.org in the style of, and I used another friend's nonprofit website, goodynation.org. What it spit out within 30 seconds was so good that about 6 years ago, I was finishing my run running a website agency, building custom WordPress sites. We would have charged $60,000 for what it spit out in 30 seconds. No, $30,000 for what we spit out in 30 seconds. It absolutely shocked me how good the design was and how it went through and made strategic decisions about the story and the narrative and step 1 is this, and then step 2 is this, and then step 3 is, it was unbelievable. And it's just going to get better and better and better. It's just, it freaks me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie. So.
Yeah, I've been experiencing this. Now I used Claude to vibe code a WordPress, but it didn't start out that way.
Okay. Right.
It was hey, I need a new opt-in. I'm thinking of doing a quiz, and it's oh, here's the quiz you should do. And then it generated this beautiful looking HTML and JavaScript quiz that worked perfectly, except I wanted to send the quiz data to ConvertKit, formerly ConvertKit.
Yeah.
And it was oh yeah, just add your API. And I'm should I put my API key in HTML? And it's oh no. And so I was okay, let's do it this way. And we made it a plugin, and we got a lot of the way there, and I was pretty impressed by it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've been thinking about right? With stuff like this, with Lovable or any really vibe coding thing, is I wrote a blog post about this earlier this week, maybe, that's like, AI can help you if you already know what you're doing. And I think this is a really important thing, right? You and I are both experienced here.
Yeah.
I knew, right? I mean, I assume some person who's not tech savvy would have just put in their ConvertKit API key.
For sure,
right,
they would have.
HTML,
Yeah, wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Yeah, and so like it is scary because like I did this with a client project recently too, where like I grossly underscoped because I made an assumption about some plugins that I thought could do some things and couldn't.
Right.
I'm like a little rusty. I got out of the web development game a few years ago, but like I still do some stuff for nonprofits that I'm like connected to.
Right.
And like ChatGPT coded almost 2,000 lines of code for me.
Oh wow.
And nice. Worked well inside of WordPress. And so that shook me the same. You know, but I think like I am wondering, because I mean, we have another story coming up. Spoiler alert.
Man. Let's introduce it and let's talk about that, right? So, so this story, because I think I know where you're about to go. So the story is behind the curtain, a white collar bloodbath. So this is the head of Anthropic, which is the company that produces Claude AI. And he basically says, look, white collar jobs are going to get just I think he said 40% reduction or something insane. And I mean, he predicts, I think he was even asked, like, if you wanted to replace employees tomorrow at your company, how many could you replace? And he's like 50%, I think is what he said, or something insane. And so, I've mixed emotions on this, and I've thought along a spectrum on this, but I'm curious, like, what were you going to say first? And let's dialogue about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is exactly what I'm thinking, right? I think you and I are both old enough to remember when a lot of like companies just en masse started offshoring jobs.
Oh yeah.
And my prediction after working with a couple of folks offshored was these are going to come back because there's a quality control problem.
Quality and communication was the problem, right? You'd say code this and they'd code exactly that perfectly, even if that wasn't exactly what you really needed.
Yes. And I suspect that we will see something similar with AI.
Interesting.
I think that AI will do some things extremely well, but again, like there's another story I've included in here that I'm used to support my point later. But I think that there are just some things that we'll think AI can do well, and we'll find down the line that we're actually seeing a reduction in quality here. So I do think, yes, like there are jobs at risk, just like during the Industrial Revolution, there were jobs at risk,
right?
But
it'll open up more opportunity too, just like
it's not like handmade stuff has gone away or farming has gone away,
right?
It has changed, and I think this is definitely the scariest and probably the widest reaching, especially for
sure. Well, and
like brain jobs.
Yeah, targets knowledge workers versus something else, which is scarier too. The thing that I've been thinking about, and I'm reading a book called Co-Intelligence. It's a few years old now, but very good and sort of frames things pretty well. But the thing that I've been thinking about is like AI can replace a ton of people today. But people don't want people replaced today, right? Like that's the thing is like you could absolutely have an AI that basically acts as your CMO, and that would replace what I do, because I do a lot of fractional CMO work, right? Like that would replace, but they don't want that. They want a human that's sitting in the meeting, creatively thinking about the problems that they have, and then leveraging AI to assist in solving those problems. They don't want to take out the human component. And I think that's probably going to be true for a very long time. And so I think AI will be supplemental for a long time. It'll improve. It'll massively expand our abilities and the quality of our work. I mean, studies show that the quality goes way up. And so I think that will massively improve everything. But they still want a person as the interface in a sense, right? Kind of pulling the strings to a degree. And so I think that's made me feel a little bit better about it. It does concern me for kind of those first generation knowledge workers right out of college, because I personally, like, whereas I would have hired an intern to do some of the things, like AI just does them for me now, and does them better, honestly, than a first job person would do them, and with less oversight. So I think that's the concern for me.
You know what's interesting? I had 3 thoughts that I'll make really quick.
Okay.
One is, as you were talking, I thought of the adage about teachers that say those who can't do teach, which is, I'm a teacher, so I take some issue with that. But
right.
it reminded me of like how I would tell people you can't learn business in a classroom. And AI is almost like the person who took every business class.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
like it knows what to say.
Yes.
And so like, it's probably good at surfacing the academic knowledge. And then you still want a human to be like, oh, I'm considering your exact problem.
Yeah.
Which may or may not have been documented and learned by AI.
Yeah.
The other was the Giver. I just read The Giver recently. I don't know. I don't know what compelled me to do it. But I just like, I thought about how the entire society lived in this essentially a bubble. And then there was one guy who had all of the memories.
Oh, right.
And then he could pass them on.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
And
I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. I read it again, after reading it in like 7th grade. So like,
I read it because one of my kids read it in 7th grade recently. That's why but there's a movie too. I need to watch the movie. I totally forgotten about that. I think there's a movie. Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know. I just like it. I'm not drawing a very clear line here. I just had that thought. Like, is there a point where there will be some AI gatekeeper, and we're definitely not ready for that. But
yeah,
I don't know. That was just a random thought.
Well, it also reminds me of, did you ever watch the show, the Netflix show, Travelers?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I probably shouldn't tell you. Let's just say there's a lot of AI in Travelers. So I will say this. You should watch the Netflix show Travelers. It is, if you like any sci-fi, it's fantastic. So it's worth watching more than once through the series. So I'm sure we're going to keep talking about AI. I guess let's keep moving to the thing. So this one's is whatever. Windsurf says Anthropic is limiting its direct access to Claude AI models. Windsurf is essentially a vibe coding app. Vibe coding, you asked if our listeners knew, and then I don't think we defined it. It's when you type into a chat and then it codes something for you. That's vibe code. You don't write any actual code yourself. It does all of the coding based on your prompt. So Windsurf is a vibe coding app. They were using Claude kind of to power it. Windsurf, I think, is getting purchased by OpenAI. Anthropic has limited Windsurf's access, I assume, because of that, which I think is a little bit petty. And that's all I got to say about that. I don't know, any thoughts, or keep on trucking here? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, if Windsurf, this is the same thing that we'd experience in the WordPress space, right? Like, don't build your business on someone else's land. It's really hard to.
So true.
It's Claude's prerogative to be like, hey, well, you're working for a competitor now. I feel like Anthropic's being a little petulant or whatever, but I also read like Windsurf's founder's tweet, and like that also felt very like, where we wanted this. So I'm like,
but I don't know what you're talking about, Joe. Tech bros never tweet things that are inappropriate or whiny. So
that's true. There's never been a very public falling out between fragile billionaires, for sure.
Megalomaniac fragile billionaires. Yeah. All right. What's next up for us?
All right. After groundbreaking, CRISPR, is that how it's pronounced?
Oh, wait, but you missed the OpenAI court one right above.
Oh, did I? Oh man, I sure did.
I got it. If you want to jump in.
So many. Well, I see. I read. I'm more familiar with this one, right? Because this is the one I was like really reading and digging into.
Okay.
OpenAI slams court order to save all ChatGPT logs, including deleted chats. Basically, OpenAI is saying, hey, a court jumped to this conclusion that we need to delete this based on some reporting. And now we can't respect our users' privacy, which is like always a red flag for me. Like, again, I'm like AI hesitant.
Okay.
But like, this app or like this technology that literally learns on everything and is like accused of stealing other people's stuff is now suddenly concerned with user privacy.
Well, but it uses it doesn't really store it as it learns, though. It uses it to adjust weights for how it predicts words. It doesn't actually store the data technically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a big difference between saying like everything you type in OpenAI learns versus saying, oh, and it's going to store all of that and it can come back to haunt you later, right? Like I think those are very different things.
Yeah, I think it's a tough line, right? Because I read, I read The Coming Wave, which is a good, if not a little too alarmist, I think.
Okay, all right.
Which I think like it needs to be probably. And I do feel that AI, especially combined with other technologies and in biotech and stuff like that, does need to be regulated.
Oh, for sure.
And so like, I'm obviously not completely familiar with everything in this, but this is not the first, or this is not the last we're going to see of this or many court cases. Oh, unless the big beautiful bill passes, right? Because there's like a provision in that says like governments can't regulate AI or something. Did you see that?
I'm sorry. I can't get past the name. Every time somebody says it, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like every time. I was hosting one of my clients' podcasts and it was about public policy and she had to talk about the bill as it relates to public policy related to healthcare. And she kept saying it, and I couldn't laugh, like because it's a client's podcast, and it's like I got to be nonpartisan, and like you got to be straight. It's like every time she said it, I'm like secretly crying because I'm like trying not to laugh so bad. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was great. Yeah. So,
but
okay. You want it ready for the next one? I guess I don't even know now.
So I guess like I mean this is not the first. I think it's
for sure. Yeah.
It'll be a very interesting conflict, I think, moving forward.
Perpetual conflict. Yeah.
So,
all right. Next up, after groundbreaking CRISPR technology, a homecoming. So this is about how a little boy had like a major, I guess a life-threatening illness. They used CRISPR technology developed over, I think, a 6-month period to treat him. And I believe it said, did it say alter his DNA? I want to go back. I need to pull up the notes here and go back to double check. But
because CRISPR is gene editing.
Yeah, gene therapy. Right? Gene editing. That's it. Yeah, edit his genes. That's what it was. Yeah, edited his genes first for the first like infant that's been done to, and now he's healthy enough to go home, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, pretty cool. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it, but this is awesome.
Pretty wild. I mean, if we're getting philosophical here, I like try not to talk too much politics, but like I feel like this is going to be this is like an at-risk technology for a lot of reasons.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, like I was raised Catholic, and I would say I'm middlingly Catholic still.
Okay.
I'm like not the best Catholic, but I still consider myself it.
Right.
And I can't help but think about the outsized reaction that the religion I identify with is going to have to this.
I think the Protestant Christian side is going to have the same problem with this as well. Because I looked up. He's the first infant treated with a personalized gene editing drug. That's what it was, gene editing. So I think, to your point, like when you're talking about literally editing the genes, which are, I guess, philosophically debatable, but it determine who you are in a lot of ways, like that. That you become like, there are a lot of philosophical questions related to that. And I mean, not even non-religious philosophical questions related to that.
Yeah, so, right. It's when are we playing God and stuff like that? Really, we are at the precipice of a very interesting time in human history, I think.
I mean, if you think about it, even like just for those of us that are, in kind of those middle, whatever you call it, middle years, right? I mean, we've seen the rise of the internet, which is the connectivity of every human to human worldwide, which for all of human history would have been the most insane thing ever to think, to say you can literally connect to any other human on the planet with message. Like, you'd be like, that's Merlin. That's Merlin from King Arthur,
Right.
But that the internet's just the beginning, right? I mean, it's the internet, and then it's AI, and then it's CRISPR technology. And I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. So you're right. So it's an interesting time to be alive, for sure. So
for sure.
All right. Oh, you're next. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Meta apps have been covertly tracking Android users' web activities for months. I don't want to sound like a smug Apple user because I was Android Army for a very long time, but I mean, yeah.
I mean, why is anyone surprised by this? Like they're keeping articles like this, like randomly. And I'm like, why is anyone surprised? Like, this is
sunscreen company loves the sun.
Oh, that's great. Or aloe company makes their sunscreen poor. Right. This is what it is. They're using some kind of It's not my favorite part of it was that it said, like, as of June 3rd, Meta says it's no longer doing this. It's like, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. So they took it out of the cookie jar. Like, that's what they do. But they're tracking other things in other ways that we still don't know about, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy, right? I mean, we have, even me, who, I feel like I'm pretty at a store when someone asks for my email address, I say I don't have one. Like, I'm just like, you don't need that. I'm giving you money for a thing.
Yeah.
That's the end of our transaction.
Yeah.
And I still give away my data all willy-nilly for the right thing or for convenience. And so the thing I feel like I've kept under wraps pretty well is my contacts. Anytime an app is like, hey, we want to access your contacts, I'm like,
nope.
No.
Same. No.
Nope.
Never. Never. Yep. Never.
Yeah. Duolingo is the most recent one. It's like, hey, connect with friends. And I'm like, no.
Nope. Don't need that.
Don't need to connect with friends.
My favorite turning down of information is being at the dentist, and I'm filling out these forms, and it's like, social security number, and I'm like, no. Nope. I'm never ever writing that down here. Never. And then our pal Mickey wrote a blog post talking about how he was at the doctor, and he had to put in his address like 4 times, and my comment was like, Mickey, I give you permission to skip all of those redundant fields. Like, they have that information. Like, I skip all of them. I just kind of go through and fill out the stuff that I know they're going to complain if I don't fill it out. And then I hand it back in and wait for them to come back and be like, oh, you missed this one. And they never come back and say you missed this. I'm just not giving you that.
Yeah. So at this point, they probably just eye roll, right?
Yeah. He missed that part again. So, all right. Using AI to generate UGC. This was your LinkedIn post. And I read it this morning, and I read your thoughts on it, and I read the post. And my first thought was, there's always been people on the internet, especially in the last 10 years, that's like, I made $20,000 a month on the internet, and you can too. And the way they made $20,000 a month was by teaching other people to make $20,000 a month. It's like just like a very bad pyramid scheme. And that's been going on for a long time. But now all that's going to be AI generated fake crap. And so now it's even more hard to tell what's real and what's not, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this guy, founder of an AI company, basically says hey, you don't need to hire creators for UGC anymore. You could just use our thing, and look at this realistic looking person holding up iPhone cases in a physically impossible way, by the way.
I missed that. Okay. Love it.
She made $25,000 selling these cases, and it's like, her name's Maya, comment Maya for the full breakdown. And then there are people who are like, can we see this? And it's just like, connect first, right? It's all automated.
Yeah.
Someone's like, how are you fulfilling them? And it's like, connect with me first. And I'm like, well, this is fake, right? Again, fake. I don't want to assume motives or speak on something I don't have direct knowledge of. But if this was so great, this guy would have linked to it, right?
Yeah.
Look at this thing that I made.
Yeah.
So it's just not to mention there's the legal ramifications of,
I mean, it always, it goes back to, if it sounds too good to be true, it for sure is too good to be true. Right. And that's in UGC content. I mean, and for those that are listening, UGC content is user generated content. It's where a user of a product generates content on behalf of that product that then that product takes like the video or whatever, fanboying that product and then uses it on their own social channels, right?
If you've seen a television commercial with vertical video that's like not really super high def, that's probably UGC.
Yeah, that's
the creator made it and posted it on Instagram or TikTok, and then they hopefully granted the rights to the company.
Hope so. Yeah.
To use it in their own paid media.
Yeah.
Right? That's what UGC is. And the idea is that instead of hiring an actor and a spokesperson to talk about this, we'll just get actual users.
It's real
to talk
users.
about it.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And,
I
now
think
we don't need real users.
It's just not. It's not there. I mean, it's not believable enough. It's not real enough, right? I think there will be a point where it's going to be indistinguishable and hard to tell, but we're not there yet, for sure. But we're getting closer and closer. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I think so, and I think part of my post, I guess I just didn't want to link directly to the guy's post.
Fair enough.
That's why I linked to mine. But the whole idea behind UGC is, a real person is using it and likes it.
That's right. Yeah. It gets rid of the whole point of it. It's disingenuous to the absolute core. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, this is like the fear that I have. And I think, based on this conversation today, you have too, of like, we still need to maintain the human element.
Yeah. That's right.
We don't want to be the humans on that ship in Wall-E.
Yeah,
where we've just subjugated our entire mind to
even
robots.
walking. We subjugated walking to
right. Yeah.
I mean, and speaking of like that, I think that probably ties into our next article. I'll go ahead. Amazon set to test AI powered humanoid robots for deliveries, according to this report. And I'm still waiting for my Amazon delivered drone packages. So I don't.
Where's my?
And I feel like drones are so much easier than humanoid AI powered robots, right? So like, this feels cart before the horse to me a little bit, right? I mean, am I crazy?
Yeah, it's like super Jurassic Park. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should, right?
Well, it is the beginning of the end, right? I mean, when humanoid robots get as good as AI is now, I mean, I think there's a possibility that humanity is obsolete almost in its entirety. So that's a little bit, it's a little bit dangerous. For sure. It does remind me though, like at Georgia Tech, and I've been down at Georgia Tech a lot because my son's done some tours and wants to go to school there. And they have automated delivery, like little like robots that they kind of look like oversized kid dump trucks. Like driving around.
Yes, I've seen this. Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. But like, why the humanoid robot to deliver stuff? Like that feels like a very inefficient way to do it.
Right. Why does a robot need to walk down the street and give me my package? Right?
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about that scene from Parks and Rec where like a drone delivers something to Ron Swanson, then he shoots it down. It's like every time a drone flies over my house, I have that same thought. I'm like, who the hell is this with their camera over my house?
Wait, does that happen to you a lot that a drones fly over? Because I can't tell you. I don't think there's ever been a drone flying over my house ever.
I think I live close enough to Philadelphia that like people in the burbs have like gotten this technology. One dude lost his drone and thought it was in my yard. And I'm like, I hate to tell you, buddy, but if it's in my yard, it's mine now. Keep better track of your drone.
That's so good. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I think it's interesting. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's cool. At Disney World, it's cool, right? Like people have drones and they're recording stuff. But like, I live in a it's not like I live in the
Disney
city.
World and record stuff.
I think like, again, like people will bring their drones. I don't think you can bring them in the parks. I've seen them flying around like downtown.
Got it. Okay.
Disney Springs or like in the resorts.
Got it. Okay.
But like I live in a residential neighborhood, right? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. There you go. All right. What's next?
The next story. Walmart is selling. This headline is so funny to me. Walmart is selling a $200 smartwatch for only $37, and shoppers say it's a great product for the money. So I mean, it definitely looks like something out of Transformers.
Yeah, it looks like a Walmart smartwatch, I think too. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be like really curious to see what what it really does, right?
I think it
Again,
does just alerts, basically. That's the best. But I put it on there for a reason. Because you, not long ago, you wrote a post, I think, about how you love your Apple Watch and how like you used to be a watch guy and now you're an Apple Watch guy. And I kind of did that. And I say this while I'm wearing an Apple Watch at the moment, but I've kind of gone the other way where I got a smart ring to track my fitness stuff specifically so that I could go out and wear a regular watch and not have any notifications on my wrist at all or any distractions. And I've kind of been loving this. So I really put this in here to trick you into talking about your Apple Watch and your thinking on that. So
yeah, love that. So like a watch that only did notifications is like my nightmare, right?
Yes.
And for the record, right, as we speak, I'm wearing an Oura Ring. I've got my Apple Watch, and I have type 2 diabetes, so I have a Stello, like the over-the-counter CGM now.
Got it.
I just love all the data, right? Also, that data has been super helpful because it actually keeps me accountable.
Yeah.
I'm not just like pricking my finger before a meal and then never again, right?
Right.
So like just my wrist buzzing with notifications is an absolute nightmare to me. The reason I love my Apple Watch is because I barely have any notifications on it. And I heavily use focus modes to make sure that I'm only getting notified when I want to get notified, or like, if my wife needs to get a hold of me or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
So like what I love about it is I don't have to rely on my phone for glanceable data, right? So like if I get a text message, I can look at it. This ties into my recommendation later, but like when I'm traveling, all of my flight information is on my watch. So I don't even need to pull out my phone to like check that. And that's really why I love my watch, because it makes me less reliant on my phone.
All right.
Not more reliant on like getting, because like if I'm in a group chat and it's popping off, I'm just like, I want to throw my phone out.
Delete. Oh my gosh. Or when I'm listening to an audiobook and I keep getting text messages and it keeps speaking the text message, I'm like, I'm going to lose my mind. So I like go and do not disturb really fast. I'm like, leave me alone. I want to be left alone,
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. Next up, we got two more for you, and then got a word in Wacky, and then Tech Rex. WWDC is upon us. You tagged this because you specifically wanted to talk about something that I know nothing about. So what was that?
Yeah. So, I mean, Apple's had a rough year, to put it lightly, right? They've had their ongoing lawsuit with Epic Games and the Fortnite company, which they have, as of a couple of weeks ago, like they've like lost bad, right? Because like they did not want to comply with the judge's orders, and the judge is like, all right, well, I'll make you comply then.
Yeah, right.
And so just rough. Their developer relations are getting worse. The things that they're doing to try to get around the tariffs are maybe not working. We'll see if the taco truck comes by. That's a deep cut. But I'm really keen to see what they do at WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference. Again, full of Apple hubris, calling it the Worldwide Developer Conference, not like the Apple Developer Conference.
Right.
But they definitely have some oh my gosh, what's it called when you need like PR? Something control. They need like
damage control. They need some damage control.
Yeah. Yes. Because they've been getting hammered on this for a while. They are not friendly to developers. They think that the only reason any developer in their ecosystem has a business is because they have the App Store.
Right.
Which might have been true in 2012.
Right.
But is certainly not true in 2025.
That's right. Yep.
And now the courts are basically saying like, you need to give people options.
Right.
In a way that doesn't use scare tactics.
Right.
And if they're going to talk about it at any time this year, that's not just like a press release, released on a Friday afternoon, it's going to be at WWDC because their audience is there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Last up, this was yours. So what's the article? And tell me I didn't get time to read it.
Claude 4 system card is a wild read. So again, this was just kind of like a gateway to talk about some of the bigger points in the Claude 4 release.
Okay.
the biggest thing to me, it's like 128 pages. So I rely on these summaries,
Right.
and then I also asked AI to summarize it and tell me the most troubling things.
Right.
And some of the more troubling things was it threatened to blackmail developers.
Yeah, we talked about
right?
that on this show.
You did talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking through the show notes.
Yeah. That one was it was a test case, right? They did it as a test.
Yeah.
So it was a controlled environment. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just, again, going back to like the whole theme of today.
Yeah.
I think it's we're on the precipice of something really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think look, AI hallucinates, and like it may just be saying like, oh yes, I'm taking steps to prevent myself from being shut down. And like it may not be able to, or we have an Ultron situation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're quite at Ultron yet, but I can foresee it being the case. And at the rate of development, it's not that far off either, potentially. So if it's genuinely possible, which I think it probably is. So yeah.
I mean, this is one of the things that they talk about in the coming wave, right? Where it's like soon, like code will be able to prevent security flaws inside of itself, and then also other code will be able to find and exploit that, and it'll be like a little cat and mouse between apps
constantly.
Ultron versus Jarvis in real life.
Yeah. I mean, it's been wild too. I mean, I've been reading articles about like computer science majors struggling to find jobs because of vibe coding. I mean, and I'm seeing that. I mean, again, like to your point, things that I would have paid a developer for 2 years ago, I would never pay a developer for today, because I can just do it myself and be done with it. WordPress plugins and apps and whatever else. So it's wild.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up again, because I said I had a third point and then I never got to it.
Okay.
But like that was, there's a view of like Gen Z and Gen Alpha that they want to not climb the corporate ladder and start with the grunt work.
Yeah.
They just want to skip. And honestly, AI could provide them this opportunity, right?
That's right.
Where they use AI to do the grunt work and then get really good at defining the requirements or iterating with, because like this is the thing with vibe coding. Like the promise is like, you don't need any tech knowledge and you can build an app. And like that's true-ish to a point.
It's true-ish. I mean,
it's true-ish.
I mean, to your point, right? So like Lovable, like I've built a full app in Lovable, but to do that, I had to integrate it with 9 different systems, and I had to understand how to do that, how API keys work, and where they should go, and how to get into this, and how to set this up. Like the technical skill required to build the app was beyond an average person's technical skill. Not far beyond, but certainly beyond. And I think, but that will become more accessible over time for sure.
Time for the Weird and Wacky segment.
Abominable Snowman.
He's not an axe murderer.
One of the TAs turned out to be a bot.
I try to find Weird and Wacky, and most of my Weird and Wacky is not tech related.
I struggled with that today, but I found this and I was like, okay, it is weird. We talked about it before, but yeah, introduce it for us.
Yeah, no more floppy disks. Air traffic control overhaul faces some daunting obstacles. And so, I mean, no more floppy disks or paper strips. They want to replace their system. I guess they view this as easier than just hiring more people.
Well, that or like, I mean, I feel like if your system's using floppy disks, like to what degree? It's kind of like how much duct tape does it take to hold together the outside of a car before it becomes genuinely unsafe, right? Like I think, right. So I think there's a point where it's like, and air traffic control is not exactly having a good moment either, and so I think they're at the point where it's like it's probably time to make this better. Yeah, for sure.
There's technical debt, and then there's defaulting on your technical loan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like that's exactly where they're at, and like it's becoming more and more. But the problem, of course, with upgrading is it becomes infinitely more hackable too, right? I mean, the safety of floppy disks that they're floppy disks and they're physical and whatever else. I mean, so that can become a huge problem. But I'm glad I don't have to solve that. particular problem.
Yeah, likewise. This is like how like NASA still has COBOL programmers, right? Like eventually, or maybe you could just keep using COBOL and we'll have Lovable writing the COBOL apps.
Yeah, that could work. Like or Lovable, like creating like an intermediary middleware interface to go between like modern code and the the antiquated code or something like that. Yeah. So
yeah, interesting time. Yeah, COBOL never dies, I guess.
Tech wreck, time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck. Chicky.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
All right, Joe, it's Tech Wreck time. What do you have for us this week?
Okay, so I am traveling to Craft and Commerce next week. I travel a lot, and this might be my all-time favorite app. It's called Flighty.
Okay.
And this is like, I mean, it's my all-time favorite app because I fly so much, but Flighty just gets all of the publicly available data from the FAA. They must have a direct line to the floppy disks. And they will tell you every possible change that happens with your flight. Like the tail number changed. Oh, it's leaving its destination for your airport now. It'll be there 10 minutes early. And it integrates, it uses like predictive algorithms to figure out if you'll be on time or if you'll be delayed.
Wow.
Looking at all of the airport data. And so like when I flew into Texas is apparently a nightmare for flights, or it was when I flew in at least. But my flight never officially got delayed, but the app said, hey, we noticed that flights taking off out of Houston are on average 40 minutes late.
Whoa.
And so you will probably be delayed.
Whoa.
And we sat on the tarmac for 30 minutes.
Wow.
So yeah, just it's got widgets. It's got an Apple Watch face. It reminds me to check into my Southwest flights so I get in the A boarding group.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're a data nerd and you travel a lot, Flighty is better than any of the official airline apps.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah. All right, I'm going to check that. I don't fly very much, but I will check it out anyway because it seems like it could be really helpful. So,
yeah. Right. I'll say the other cool thing is like I think they have a weekly, like you can pay $4 for 1 week if it's like the week you're traveling. And then they have
that's so smart because like for the occasional traveler like me, I can drop $4 on it, have whatever the premium version is, and be good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart.
Brilliant.
You don't have to pay for.
And then there's a lifetime, which I want to bite the bullet and get the lifetime because it makes perfect sense. I've been using it, but like I also kind of want to support the developer by paying annually.
Yeah, it's
just such a valuable app for me.
Yeah, I can see that
because I fly on six times a year, maybe.
Yeah,
or more.
Nice, man. That's killer. All right, my tech rec is I've been playing with Zapier's new AI agent tool. It's still in beta. AI agent. You asked me this before, and I'll define it for our audience. The way I define AI agent is building an AI tool that will do things for you when you're not actively asking it to do things for you. And so, for example, one of the AI agents that I built yesterday that I think is not quite working exactly the way I wanted to, but it's close. I use 3 different Google calendars because I've got like several different sort of gigs that I do to sort of piece together my whole career here. And the AI agent every morning at 5 a.m. looks at all 3 of my calendars and it pulls all the meeting information in and pulls in the information about the people that I'm meeting with. And then it searches my HubSpot CRM to see if I've got any notes or recent interactions with those people to give me additional context about those meetings. And then it also runs a Google search on all of those people and their companies as well to see if there's any like relevant data on the internet that I might need to know about, like a new person that I'm meeting with, maybe that I haven't met with before, to give me additional context. And then it shoots all that to me in an email at 5 a.m. every morning so that I can look at my day and go, oh, I'm meeting with this person. They're the VP of marketing at this. Because a lot of times I'll have meetings on my calendar and I'll see the person's name, but that's all I see. And then I set up the meeting 3 weeks ago and I have no idea who this person is or why I'm meeting with them. And so even knowing they're the VP of marketing for so-and-so is like, at least it's a contextual clue of like, oh, this is what this meeting's about. So, I'm still refining to make it better. I just built it yesterday. And the email that it sent me this morning was not perfect. So I'm still figuring that out. What I really want to get it to do is to research all of my recent emails with that person and give me that context. But that's a different animal. I created another AI agent yesterday that's a little more straightforward, where I use read.ai to transcribe all my meetings. And so every time a new meeting is transcribed in read.ai, it takes it, it runs it through ChatGPT. It looks for tasks that I've committed to completing. So if it said like, Joe, I'll get that to you on Wednesday. I'll get that right up to you on Wednesday. It would find that in the transcript, and then it'll add that task into Todoist, which is my task app, management app, and it would actually set the due date to Wednesday, which is pretty great. So, and now it doesn't add a project to it, but it puts it in my inbox, which is actually exactly what I wanted. So, I'm getting deeper and deeper into creating AI agents because of Project 900, where I'm trying to train 900 nonprofits on how to use AI this summer. And that's one of the things I'll be training them to do, is build AI agents to complete tasks that you don't want to complete yourself, to have like, super AI executive assistant. So Zapier is a great way to do it. I don't think it's the best AI agent tool, but it's certainly the simplest AI agent tool to build stuff with. So so far it's pretty great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really interesting because again, I shared this with you before we started recording, but I worry that the term AI agent is getting co-opted for marketing purposes, right? Circle,
right.
For example, the community app rolled out their AI agent, and it's just a chatbot.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Not an agent.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, the way you describe it is exactly right? And as Zapier, I mean, I hadn't thought of this, but Zapier is a great conduit for that. Because the problem with AI agents, right? And another reason that Apple's having a rough year, and I'm curious, is Apple Intelligence is bad.
They still haven't delivered stuff that they showed last year at the conference.
And they're not. Like, they just straight up said like, this is delayed.
Yeah.
But like, one of the things they said was like, when is my mom's flight getting in?
Yeah.
Right. And then like, it's supposed to go checkity check and give you a full report. Right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Flighty would give you step by step on that. But the problem with a proper AI agent is it needs access to a lot of things if it's going to properly do that stuff. And so I love this. I have a very similar one where I have like my shutdown routine, and I used to just like write this manually into Obsidian. But now I use an app called Whisper Memos. I word vomit to this app, and then you can either email it or send it to Zapier. And I have ChatGPT or OpenAI's API process it, and I say make a list of the things I said I had to do and send it to Todoist. So very similar to what you're talking about.
Oh man, I need that too. That'd be great.
Right? Because I have the chronic problem of working right up until the moment I have to walk out the door.
Yeah, same.
And then my brain is like, you have so many unfinished things.
Yes.
And so now it's just like, as I'm driving or walking or whatever, I'm just like word vomiting all of that.
Oh, I love that.
Free and clear. Like it's great, right? Like it's like my brain knows like once I've put it somewhere, I can stop thinking about it. I mean,
that's a very getting things done David Allen methodology. Get it all out of your head, get it somewhere that you trust. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wow, I love that. All right. What was that app again?
Whisper Memos. It's an iPhone app. It is an Apple Watch app. I have it. The reason I love my Apple Watch.
I might be creating a new AI agent today and getting a new app today. So that seems awesome. Like it. All right, Joe, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
You can find me over at casabona.org. That's the best place. I'm middlingly active on LinkedIn and really no other social media app. So if you want to connect on LinkedIn, I'm over there too.
That's right. All right, you can find me at adamjwalker.com. It's got links to everything, but go check out project900.com. And if you know a nonprofit, tell them about the project. I'm trying to help 900 nonprofits this summer with AI adoption, and I'd love your help doing that.
Dun, dun, dun.